Hello, welcome to Beyond the Edge. I'm your host, Brandy Deutsch.
Hi, I'm Dede DeMayo, your co-host. So happy to have you here. Light, love, and blessings.
We're so grateful that you're watching today or listening today. And we want to let you know that we're expanding and growing. Our show will be airing on public access television through Houston Media Source. And that's on Comcast Channel 17, UVerse Channel 99, Sudden Link Channel 99, and Phonoscope Channel 96. And you can find our air days and times on Houston Media Source website, and that's www.hmstv.org/TV-schedule. And you can also go to the site hmstv.org. So we're super excited about that. We'll be airing. Go ahead.
It's so amazing. I just can't believe we're getting this opportunity. I mean, our show is going to bring so much information to people.
It really will, and I'm excited too, because and it's not like the thing about being on television or anything like that. It's just reaching more people. I've always thought that, even when I was a yoga instructor, I was like, more people, the better, because the more people we can get to, the more the message gets out there, the more we help, the more people we help. So that's my thing. I want to help as many people as we can. So I also want to give a shout out to JP Sears. If you know who JP Sears is, he's a comedian out in California. He's super funny. He makes fun of spirituality, and it's hilarious. So he has a new website, and it's www.awakenwithjp.com. And I didn't give Dede that info because I saw it late last night.
Oh, who's? So, but thank you. See, you share information, and it reaches everybody, including me. So I'll have to look him up. I love comedians.
He's so funny. He's got some sweet new merchandise, cool shirts and stuff that's like I eat meat, but I identify as a vegan. That was my favorite one. I mean, he's funny. He's funny. He makes fun of everything and everyone, and it's so funny. And so, he supports spirituality, comedy, freedom, and he's a new daddy. So check him out if you can.
Congratulations, JP.
Right? I've seen pictures of his baby. They're just gorgeous. So today, if you're just tuning in, today we're going to be discussing a very hot topic. On Monday, the controversial what they call themselves, a diary company, MSCHF, released their promotional shoes for Satan shoes. Okay. So today, I thought we'd call this show Walking in Faith or Chaos. This is such a great topic. I love this topic because this is really what we're all about, right, Dede? We're about talking about spirituality. How does this play into spirituality? What are people thinking? So first, I want to just put out a disclaimer out there, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So I have some information about the company we're going to share with everyone and talk about, walking in faith or chaos and what that means. But a lot of times people get tricked and duped and lured into darkness. And I'm going to speak about my own experience and how I overcame some of that. But I also want to know that we're going to be covering some things that might seem a little scary. We're not trying to put anybody in fear. We're not trying to scare anybody. So if some of what we say feels scary, I want to encourage you to remember that you're a spiritual being and that you have ultimate power, and no one can take that power away from you without your permission. So that's an important piece to remember. Some of these things that you've seen it on TV, maybe you've seen it on the internet, it can be scary. But what we say about fear is false evidence appearing real.
Mm-hmm.
Danger is real. Fear is a choice. So I want you to know that right off the bat. You don't have to be afraid of these things. And we're going to reiterate that too. Like, this is not about being in fear. This is about being aware and making a different choice, making a choice that resonates with you, your heart, and your soul. All right, I just had to say that.
No, I agree. And then, people need to be aware that, it may be something that puts them out of their comfort zone that we talk about sometimes, and even with us bringing what truths we know to be a fact or real in our lives, they always need to check it,
That's right.
I've always told my kids, watch what people do, how they live. not just what they're telling you. What evidence is there? So step outside the fear zone and find the evidence. What lines up with what's being said?
Yes, and really check in with self. I'm
Yes.
so big about, checking with yourself. What
Mhm.
did they say anything? Because as an intuitive, when I listen to people talk and when we're doing some healing sessions, I'm really listening for the nuances. I'm
Mhm.
I'm waiting and waiting for the energy to move me, to move them. I'm listening for what they say, for what they don't say. And actors and actresses are very
Yeah.
good.
Yes,
Right?
they get to the emotions, and you have to sometimes check the emotions at the door. Or research, why is it making you have that emotion? What is it about it? And it's not always true. It's just a reaction.
Exactly,
Um,
exactly. That's why I love some of what we do because we
yes,
can remove the emotions instantly.
yes.
So I want to jump into this. So Dede, you heard about the Satan shoes. I want to know what your reaction was when you first heard about it.
I, okay, so WTF, right? I mean, I'm just going to say I'm going to use the social media acronyms and stuff, and because I'm like, people are just, what, really? Come on. I what next? A true body part in a clothing piece of clothing, or I mean, and how gross is that? Really? I can see doing things ceremonial or whatever, but we're past the stage where you need sacrificial blood for anything, right? So
I
I
agree.
don't know. For me personally, I was just really, what, WTF? What? I don't know if I have enough words for it today, because I'm blown away by what people will create and market, and people
Right,
buy.
right, for
Oh,
sure. And how much they'll pay for it.
oh, it's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know,
So I know.
mm,
I know, it's insane. So I want to hear from the audience too. I want to hear from our listeners, and if you guys, I want to know your reaction too. I'm so curious. I'm so curious about what people are thinking and feeling. So you can text us at our 1-800 number. Dee Dee's gonna flash that up,
yeah, I put it here.
or you can comment in the chat.
Yes,
Right. So yeah, our text number is 805 500 3343. So text us or let us know one way or the other how you feel about this, because I love knowing what people think and feel. Personally, I'm not surprised because I've seen this kind of thing many times before, right? So
yes.
I'm actually liking the fact that you can look at someone's shoes and know right off the bat that they worship Satan or Lucifer. I like that. Then you know who you're dealing with, right?
Well, yes, yes. And is it somebody that just wants to be part of the crowd because they worship the person?
Oh, so we're gonna get into
I
that
mean, do they
today.
really know what they're doing? When they purchase
Seriously,
these items?
we're gonna get into that today, Dee Dee. I'm
Mhm.
glad you brought that up because someone can unknowingly sign up for something that they don't even know what they're signing up for.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's the seduction of
Mhm.
Luciferianism, right? That's where they slither in and start to like go, oh, what about the temptation, right?
Yeah.
Look at this, look at that. So this is why we're talking about walking in faith or walking in chaos, because there's a difference and we're going to help you identify the difference. All right, so let's talk about this company that created this thing, because I did a little research. I'm a researcher. I want to know, inquiring minds want to know, who is this, right? So the company MSCHF is a company that runs on structured chaos. All right. It's going viral and selling out products in minutes, from Jesus shoes to toaster shaped bath bombs. And this was an article. That's the heading of an article from January 23rd, 2020. And here's what the CEO of the company says. This is from this article. Our perspective is everything is funny in a nihilistic sort of way. His name is Gabriel Whaley. He also says, we're not here to make the world a better place. We're making light of how much everything sucks.
Wow. And so
That's
they're putting humor in the bad, making it like it's really
mhm.
of no consequence or whatever. That's just,
Making it funny. Exactly. And making light how everything sucks. And we're not, he says straight out, we're not here to make the world a better place. So, red flag goes off. If you're not here to make the world a better place, then you're here to contribute to the chaos.
Well, and even if you don't see yourself as somebody, because, biblically speaking, the earth is created to sustain us and have us enjoy the fulfillment of life, but you're not supposed to destroy it. So, I mean, look at it from a different, if you don't think you have anything good to contribute, also don't destroy it. Just live. Don't live in the negative and the darkness of things.
I think everyone has something to contribute.
Yeah,
And that's part of the problem. We're not taught what are our gifts, what are our
yeah,
talents, what are the things that help us shine and make us shine. Instead of, oh, the world's a really crappy place. Here, let me show you how crappy it is.
yeah.
That's
Well,
what
I
I
mean,
hear this guy say.
there's a saying, and I know most people have heard it: "Life sucks, and then you die." Really? I mean, for a long time, it was like, okay, I've kind of bought into that, and then I woke up. I woke up and I was like, well, I just wasted a lot of life thinking that. So,
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean,
I've
and
had similar experience. Yeah.
it's terrible what people buy into that just shortens their joy, or they don't have any, and you know,
Right.
ugh.
So I have another quote from a person with, his name is Greenberg, last name is
Mhm.
Greenberg. I don't have his first name, but he's the head of commerce for this company. And he talked to Business Insider, and that's where this article comes from. And here's what he said: If we can make people a fan of the brand and not the product, we can do whatever the F we want. Okay.
Yeah.
He said, we build what we want, we don't care. And the Satan Luciferian tenet is do as thy wilt, right? So they're going to do what they want. And I'm not saying that they're tied into it and knowingly tied into it. I'm saying the energy of
Hmm.
that is already there. They've already
Hmm.
established that. And so to make this kind of product, and they've made other products too. I'll give you another example of something they've done. They bought out all of the URLs of potential people running for president in 2024.
What?
So
Oh my
you
God.
could buy a share, a normal person could buy a share of that URL and make money off of whenever they sell it to the person who might be running for president. So OAC, you know who that is, right? The Rock, we've
Okay.
talked about, Mitt Romney. There's like a whole plethora of people that they have on their site who are considering running, who might run. They bought up the URL. You could buy a share, and so when they buy, so this is this is core to the core commercialism. We're making money. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that, but that goes to show you again these products that they're pushing and serve. They're saying we're going to make money. It's outrageous. We know. We don't care. And so this is a product of our world anyway. I've heard that a lot too.
Hmm.
This is just our world. We're just capitalizing on it. I find that very interesting too.
Yeah. I mean, at what cost to other people, and what people just blindly give away, or just, ah, I don't know. It's like sheep or to a slaughter. And also, I see this fishbowl effect. People are caught in a net,
Yeah.
and then they spend their whole life going around, and every now and then someone might move a part of that fishbowl just so they think they have something new, but they're still in the same damn fishbowl.
Right.
I just, I don't know.
That's right. Keeping people in a circle, in a cycle of
Hmm.
chaos.
Of
Of
chaos.
chaos.
Yeah. Hmm.
So let's look at these shoes. Didi, you have a picture of these shoes?
Yeah. There you
Okay,
go.
so check it out. There's a pentagram emblem on the laces, and there's the number is 6 divided by 666 on the shoes. There's human blood inside the sole. There's a Bible verse ingrained on the shoe. That's Luke 10:18. We're going to actually talk about that. And an inverted cross, actually on the shoe too. You can't see it there, but there is one. And so what Nike has done, Nike is actually saying they're not affiliated with this shoe. They actually filed a trademark and dilution lawsuit against the designer and CEO. So Nike is separating themselves from this product, saying, we didn't design it. We didn't say it was okay to do it. They took an already designed shoe, and the designer who used to work for Nike came and he redid it to customize it for what they, and they only made 666 of these shoes. The cost of them was $1,018 per shoe. Okay. And so just for contrast, they also made Jesus shoes. All right. So we got to talk about that a little bit. And so on these Jesus shoes, they made these first, by the way. They made these first. Nowhere near the controversy that they're getting now for the Jesus shoes. For the Satan shoes. So there's an inscription on this one. It's Matthew 14:25, and that one's inscribed on the shoe, which is where it talks about Jesus walked on the sea to get to his disciples. We're going to talk about that a little bit too in a little bit. So I'm hoping that the symbolism isn't lost on everyone, because walking in faith or walking in chaos can have multiple meanings, right? The foundation on which we stand holds energy and power. So if we truly want to walk in Jesus' shoes, we will walk on like the earth, right? With bare feet or in carpenter sandals. The demons wear whatever they want. And we just heard that. We do whatever we want, you know? So at least this way, as I said before, we know who they are. We know who they
Yeah. 666 of them at least have some that they're just outright going to say, this is who I am.
Exactly.
It's about deception on the most part.
It really is. And pop culture in particular are really pushing the satanic agenda. You know, pop culture is really fueling this. I was watching a series, a show, probably maybe a year ago, maybe a little less, and I like to watch it. It's where they make over these artists who come. They do makeup, you know, and they make over your face or their face. Sometimes they do it online, and sometimes they do it for other people. And it was a competition. And I love to see what they come up with. Well, the winner of the last competition that they aired, and I'm sorry, I forgot the name of the show. Her whole thing was gore, scare, you know, the scare stuff. And every episode, she had a satanic T-shirt, or she did some kind of satanic thing. I mean, some grotesque makeup. I mean, it was well done, but I mean, her whole shtick was she wanted to show her parents that she could be something with what she wanted. They had other aspirations for her. And so she's wanting to walk away from what they wanted for her and wanted to do her own thing. And she wanted to do her own thing, right? So she's very talented. And at the same time, the energy around which she was doing things, you could tell was purely satanic driven.
Well, and anger about, I can do it myself. I don't need any guidance. I don't need anybody to tell me I'm going right or wrong. You know, it's a fight syndrome. It's not about just going through life and being happy. You know,
Exactly.
which is sad. I mean, it's going to take a lot of years off her happiness.
Well, you know, teens, gosh, it's a rough time. Being a teenager is not an easy time. There's hormones and this rebellious nature that goes on. I remember being a teenager and being very like, oh my God, I don't want anything to do with that, with my parents. They're not doing it the way I would do it. And being very rebellious. Today, it's a very different story, you know, for a lot of us. We just grow up, you know? We grow up.
True.
So when somebody tells you that they're a servant of Satan or Lucifer, believe them the first time, okay? So we take them seriously. And the thing that we need to know and remember is that a lot of times they don't tell you. They won't tell you, especially people who are more in the elite class of this type of philosophy. And it's not actually categorized as a religion. Luciferianism is not a religion. It's a philosophy. And so what you need to be able to do is identify them. There's certain language, there's certain hand gestures and symbols that indicate who they might be walking with, sometimes unknowingly, all right, as before. So there is a photo I want to show you. People don't know how deep this goes, but Look, Dede's like, I don't
I'm
know.
so I am just like, wow, I hope we hear from these folks and they do some explaining. Before I put this up, my heart's broken.
Okay, so this is a symbol that is used to signify this person or these people are connected to Luciferianism. Not saying that they are Luciferians, but there is a connection because that is the symbol for 666. Okay,
Mm.
that's what that is. That is, the 3 6s right there in their hands.
Can I just
And
call Johnny Depp out on our show? I want to hear from him. He needs to explain exactly what the hell because I'm so heartbroken. And I've been trying to be supportive of him with what he's going through. I'm in disbelief. So I need to hear from you, Johnny. Let's do some explaining.
Johnny, you've been called out, and I second that because,
Uh,
we've watched a lot of Johnny Depp's movies. We supported him in different ways, and he's a great actor. Don't get
yeah.
me wrong. He's a great actor. And there are a lot of people, and that's the next thing, mainstream performers, movies, TV programs, podcasts, and radio stations, they all support the absence of God in people's lives. And I'll say that because I see it more and more. They glorify intelligence, power, money,
Mhm.
greed, technology. These are the new gods, the idol
Mm,
gods, right?
yeah.
I was watching a program last night with with Scott. He likes to watch Agents of Shield.
Oh. Ooh.
Asked one of the characters, "Do you believe in God?" And what she said was, "Not really."
Oh, wow.
Just came out and said, "Not really." And she's one of the more compassionate characters on the show.
Mm,
And I'm not saying that it's wrong to not believe in God. But what I'm saying is when movies and TV and these things they glorify or don't encourage the inquisition about why
mhm.
do I want to feel God? Why do I want to be in touch with God? That tells you they have a different agenda. That tells you something else is going on there. So instead of it being a discussion, it's an outright no, I choose not, to go.
Yeah.
All right. So speaking of performers and people who people who are
This one I'm not surprised by though, but go ahead.
right. So this is Little Nas. He is one of the people. He was the person who was promoting this product. He's a rapper, and he created a catchy little song online, and it got the attention of Billy Ray Cyrus.
Mhm,
The song was called Old Town Road, and he recorded it and it became part of a child pop culture song. Okay, so sometimes the artist will do songs, and then a company will redo the song, remix it, and make it appropriate for children if it wasn't. And
mhm,
there's a lot of those, right? And then they'll put it on a CD for children.
mhm.
So a lot of kids know his song and listen to it. I saw a video of him at a school, and he was like egging them on. Everybody was singing it. They were having a good time. Completely innocent, right? Until until, right? Um until he starts promoting things like Jesus, like Satan shoes. Okay.
Yeah.
So Miley Cyrus, who is Billy Ray Cyrus's daughter, most people have heard of her. She's Hannah Montana, okay, and
Mm,
was Hannah Montana. That's yeah, we'll go back to that. And she's good friends with Little Nas. We just had that picture up, and this is them hanging out. Smiley, and that's another indication that someone might be connected to Luciferianism. By the way, sticking out the tongue, because there's a image of Lucifer with his tongue sticking out, and so could be okay. I'm never saying ever that this person is 100% Luciferian. I would
right.
never do that because I don't know what they do in their personal life and who they talk to. But I'm just telling you, it could be. And based on some of the other things that Miley Cyrus has done, I would say that's probably a really good indication that she is affiliated with that group.
But uh, I think so much of it is about causing the chaos and so an example is someone told me that someone did certain things on TikTok, for example, to get clout. it's like street clout or something. I mean, I don't know if I can call it that accurately, but it's like they do something outrageous just to draw attention to themselves. So, like I said, we don't know what's really going on with these people. We will ask them to come and present their side of the story. I'd
Yeah.
love that,
Yeah. Yeah.
but it's like that thing when you're as a kid, you're told, don't hang out with so and so, you're guilty by association.
Mm.
Well, that reigns true with this. Is this what's really
Mm.
going on in your life, or do you want to explain yourself?
Yeah, so two things come to mind when you say that,
Yeah.
Dee. For me, one, this has been going on for a long time. Like,
Hmm.
I think of when I was younger, Ozzy Osbourne would bite the head off of a bat, right? And it
That's
was
what
like
they
shock
say.
value. It was shock
Yeah.
value. It was like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what did he do? And all the Christians were like, oh, that's Satan worship, blah, 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 right? To this day, my dad still listens to Ozzy Osbourne. He's one of the
Yeah.
most compassionate people I know. So I'm like, yeah, no. You're right, shock value, and it's a performance thing,
Hmm.
right? It's a performance, it's an entertaining thing. And you need to know that a lot of these people who have that, who say, yes, I'm going to agree to be outrageous, are connected to that group because it creates chaos.
Well, and are they connected because of choice? Are they connected because it just gives them that stardom and that clout? I mean, so many people are blind followers. It's, and then they're not. Some of them deliberately go along with it because that's just what they do. You know, I,
And
I,
that's why we're talking about it today.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
people need to hey, red flag, red flag. If you're following the group that's causing chaos, you
Hmm.
need to open your eyes,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like, hello,
yes,
what am I really doing following people who are creating chaos in their lives and in my life, right?
yes,
It's ping.
yeah.
Like, oh yeah, okay. And so there was that other photo of Miley Cyrus sporting her new Satan kicks right there. And something she said, her words were, "Can you see me, Satan?" Right?
It just says, "Can you see Satan?"
Oh, can you see Satan? Okay.
Yeah, and so I just, but it's a verified account, unless what is that
Yeah.
on Facebook?
Uh,
Yeah,
tw- I think that's her Instagram.
Instagram.
Yeah.
Okay, so they verify that little blue check. So,
Yeah.
mm,
So that's her. So I want to talk about the Bible verse that is on these shoes because
okay,
I think there's some, and now we're getting more into the spiritual part of what
okay.
this is really about. Okay, so Luke 10:18, and this is where Jesus sent out his disciples to go and kind of feel things out before he went and say, "Listen, you let people know that I'm coming, and that they need to find them in their heart to accept God, right? Because I I want people to know who God is and what's happening here."
Hmm.
So he sent out 72 people, and they returned, and they said to him, "Lord, even the demons submit to us in your name." And what Jesus said was, "I saw Satan fall like lightning from the heaven.
Hmm.
I have given you authority to trample on snakes and scorpions and to overcome all the power of the enemy. Nothing will harm you. However, do not rejoice that the spirits submit to you, but rejoice that your names are written in heaven."
Wow.
Right?
Hmm.
That's powerful
That's
stuff.
powerful.
Isn't that powerful stuff?
Hmm.
And then he turned to his disciples in private and said, "Blessed are the eyes that see what you see. For I tell you that many prophets and kings wanted to see what you see, but did not see it, and to hear what you hear, but did not hear it."
So the scripture itself, because I kind of wait and jump in and wade into our shows without a lot of research because I want to have a true reaction to things that may come across. The scripture itself is is establishing authority of the believer, of someone that walks in faith. So are the shoes a message of satanic worship, or are they a message of, I trample the demons under my feet? What's the
Mm,
what's the real message? Okay,
yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
now that
When it,
now that
well, the only scripture they're referring to, right? The one line that they're referring to is he replied, I saw Satan fall like lightning from the heaven. That's the only one they're referring to. But when you read the whole scripture, just like I just did,
Mm-hmm.
that's the hidden message
Yeah.
that there's power in the light of God.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's so interesting how again and again and again we see light inside the dark and
Yes.
dark inside the light.
Yes. Well, they can't be. I mean, there is no such one or the other without each other. I mean,
Exactly.
but darkness doesn't exist where there's full light. So there again, it does cause a total shift in that. So
Yeah. So I found that very interesting that they only quoted the one little verse, but the whole scripture is really about the opposite.
well, can I just elaborate on that?
Yeah,
That's the problem with most people in any kind of religion or philosophy or whatever. They only quote a piece that makes them feel empowered. They don't really are not or vengeful, or they don't look at the whole thing and ask for revelation on its true meaning. Uh, so the word of God that's written in the Bible, as we understand it, is not the only, but it is pretty inclusive, and most people don't read the whole story. They don't want to understand that it's more than just, yeah, I'm victorious, but how, or I'm a sinner, but how, or whatever. So yeah, it's you got to think outside the box. You got to look at more than just the little one blip.
that's a great point, Dede.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Or rely on other people to interpret it for us. We give a
Yeah.
lot of authority to preachers.
Yeah, I know. That is something that, uh, you have to check their spirit. You have to see what's their agenda. Is it about keeping you in the pew, polishing the seat, padding their pockets, or money that just stays in that circle? Or, is it somebody that's truly a spiritual being that has a relationship with God and is not just spewing back doctrine that was fed to them through curriculum just so they can get up and
Exactly.
make a living. So yeah,
Exactly.
that's a
I
whole. Ooh, we could go on forever.
Well, that's a great segue into the
Yeah.
next thing we're going to talk
Yes.
about, which is
Yes.
corruption in our systems,
Yes.
right? So the Vatican has been corrupted, has been
Hmm.
compromised, right? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know this. The children that have been abused in the religious system, in the Catholic system, and I'm not saying it doesn't happen in other systems, it does. I'm just talking about this particular thing. You cannot protect a child in that way if you're harming them. That's
Mm-hmm.
like that doesn't compute, you know? So the Vatican has been corrupted. English crown has always been corrupted. Also, I'm going to talk about Freemasons a little bit. Not everybody knows about the Freemason system, but that's where a lot of our politicians are connected to Freemasons. A lot of the professions, doctors, lawyers, are connected to Freemasons. And so it's no wonder our political and judicial systems are corrupted.
Mm-hmm.
Public education system has been corrupted, right? Anywhere power can be obtained, it has been corrupted. Now, I'm not saying that all people in those systems are corrupt, because God knows there are some angels that are in those systems,
Yes.
right?
Absolutely.
But the system itself has been corrupted.
Yeah. Well, and I think that just supports the thought or the belief that money is the root of all evil, and so education, for example, was set up where the community wanted to educate their children. They sent them to school, and then it became big business. It became something that the government subsidized and monetized instead of the community coming together and purchasing the stuff the kids would learn from. So
Yes, and I know
it's just
you know a few things about that.
mhm.
And is it money, or is it the love of money is the root of all evil?
You're right. It's the love of money.
Okay. I wanted
Yeah,
to make sure. I
yeah,
wasn't
no,
sure,
no,
but okay.
yeah,
I
because
wanted to make
money's
sure.
not. It is a tool,
It's just energy,
and
right?
yeah, it's just energy. And so you're right. Thank you for correcting me on that.
No
Sorry.
problem.
Yeah.
No, but see, it's also things like that, whole system. Oh, it's a whole system. No, it's this particular thing inside the
Yes.
system.
Yes.
So that's why I want to talk about Freemasons a little bit because Freemasons have this kind of indoctrinating process.
Hmm.
And a person named by the name of William Still, he was in that system, and he talked about it in a book that he wrote called The New World Order,
Hmm.
right? And so what he said was there's a lure in that establishment. First people start telling you about, you go in it, maybe you're a Christian, maybe you believe in God. But then the people inside that system start telling you about deism, which is, well, there's a God and he created us, but he doesn't have anything to do with us on earth, right? In this
Yeah.
world. That's
Okay.
deism. So that's the first, right? Right? So they start saying, so we can kind of do what we
Yep.
want here,
Mhm.
And then they move to atheism, where there's no such thing as God. God is a man-made construct because they're all intellects, they're all intelligent, right?
Mhm.
And so again, that's another false God where they say, well, intellectually, just think about it, And
Mhm.
again, I was kind of in that camp for a while, so I was like, yeah, okay, I could buy into that.
I think I remember you coming, like you were just maybe at the end of that phase, because you were like, what? We'd talk about certain things, and yeah.
Right, right,
So.
and I had to come out of that. And so Luciferianism is basically the worship of Lucifer, the bringer of light, is what they call it. And so it's a gradual kind of um, diminishing of God as you lift yourself up in the system.
Mhm.
So it's this bell curve type thing that happens with their belief system. And so I found this verse and I found it very interesting. And I don't even know why I had this up or where it came from, but definitely intuitively I said, okay, well, I got to put. So Matthew 5:34-37, they say, so this is, I think this is Jesus talking again. I'm not sure. So
Is
I
it in red?
apologize.
You read it, and I'll tell you. I'll
I
tell
don't
you.
remember. But I tell you, do not swear an oath to all, either by heaven or by it is God's throne, or by earth or for his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not swear by your head, meaning, right?
Mhm.
For you cannot make even one hair white or black. All you need is to simply say yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the evil one. So don't swear oaths. And in these establishments, in these systems, you are made to swear oaths.
Yeah.
In theta healing, we remove all oaths,
Right. Cancel
agreements,
contracts and
mental,
agreements. Yeah.
right? Because we have to be free. We
Yeah.
must be free. And where it says all you need to say is yes or no, in theta, we say, do you want to change that? Yes or no, right? If you're a yes, we shift it and your
Mhm.
whole world changes from that aspect of whatever it is we're changing. If you say
Yes.
no, it's cool.
Yeah.
Just move on and you got what you got, you
Yeah.
know? So I found that verse very interesting. And the fact that we work with these things to release those oaths, to release those old agreements and
Mhm.
those bonds that we had from previous lives, present life, it's very important.
Mhm.
So Albert Pike was one of the most important Masons, okay? And he said, the true and pure philosophic religion is the belief in Lucifer, the equal of Adonai. That's what they believe, the equal of Adonai. But Lucifer, God of light, is struggling for humanity against Adonai, the God of darkness and evil. And Albert Pike said that and wrote that. That was from William's book. He also said symbols are displayed to the initiate, but he is intentionally misled by false interpretations. Symbols are an important part of how we interact with spirit, right? And I'm excited because I see young people saying, "Oh, 1111," like they're seeing the numeric
Yeah.
symbols all
Yeah.
around,
Mhm.
and it brings to their awareness and their consciousness. They don't always know what they mean,
Right.
but they know it's symbolic, and that's exciting. That's how spirit communicates with us sometimes when they can't get through all the crap.
Yeah.
So letters, shapes, numbers, numbers are symbols that represent quantity. But there's only one and zero. Like
Hmm.
that's it. One is just multiple, numbers are just multiples of one. So anything beyond one, that's just multiples. And so if something where zero, zero, you have nothing,
Hmm.
nothing, right? But we're all aspects of one,
Yes.
right? So I love the connection of the symbolism around what we're seeing and how we're seeing it in our world, and to be able to identify a symbol and say, "Oh yes, I know what that means, and that's connecting to my spirit right now," is a very joyful thing.
Hmm.
So that's all I wanted to say about that.
No, I mean, and it's something to be celebrated and encouraged in your life if you start, having those things happen. Explore that. Why am I
Yes.
recognizing this? Why, is God trying to get my attention? Yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes. He is.
Absolutely,
Um,
absolutely. So, I know we both have stories around,
mm,
where we've been and how we've been in situations where we've been in chaos.
mhm,
It's just that, like, we've been in chaos. When I was younger, I came from kind of a broken home, and my parents were divorced when I was young, and my parents, my mom, my stepdad, and my dad, they had all drug and alcohol issues, right? So they struggled with those for a long time. As a child of that, I was very fortunate. I was never abused. There was some neglect and some abandonment, but you grow through those things.
yes,
Even though those things stay with you, throughout your life, there becomes a point. For me, it wasn't like a one thing that changed things. For me, it was a gradual step into, like I'm taking this step into the light, and I'm getting closer to the light, I'm getting closer to the light. And it was through yoga and meditation that helped me. It was through theta healing that helped me. It was through having my children that helped me. And it was so interesting because had so much resistance around having children. Like I remember the moment that I had my son, my first son. He's now 18. That was 18 years ago. And he was crying at night, like crying and crying and crying. He was not a happy camper.
mhm,
And I remember nights, holding him in my arms, shaking him, singing to him. I'm a very nurturing mother, right? And I remember crying when he finally fell asleep. I remember crying my eyes out and thanking God, because I wanted for so long to skip that part,
mhm,
not realizing that, oh, this is the part that makes me humble. This is the part that makes me give all I have to this helpless, like, beautiful human being, and develop my compassion. So that was a huge step for me into the light, where I became humble and was giving this child, this innocent creature, whatever it needed 24/7, because
yeah,
he couldn't take care of himself, right? So that was a huge step for me into the light. And I want to let people know that prior to that, years before that, I had an abortion when I was 18, 19, I think. And my thinking, my place in my head at that time was, this world was a horrible place. I didn't want to bring another person into this world. That kind of thinking, I have to, and that's why I have compassion for women who do this, who decide to have an abortion, because nothing was going to change my mind in that moment. Nothing and no one was going to change my mind, because of how I thought about the world, because of how I thought about myself. I did
mhm,
not have self love. I did not have love for the world. And when that changed, I was able to give love and light and life to another human being.
yeah,
And I really think that that is part of the essence of what believing in the power of Creator, believing in the power of God is all about.
mhm. Yes, I think so. I agree.
So how do you handle chaos in your life, Dede? What do you do when you see that
Well,
chaos?
I used it just, it's been something that through faith that has developed where now I kind of just it looks like I just walk on top of it and go past it. It still has to go through me. It's processed, in a different way now. But when I was younger, I felt so defeated. I used to be really depressed, just angry, about chaos, because you don't know why it's hitting you. You don't know and then as you grow and get more awake and in tune with yourself, in tune with God, you find out some of that stuff is self-inflicted, and you figure out what it is you need to not be doing anymore, or what you should. I hate to put should on anything, but what your opportunities can be
Mm.
to change the negative or chaos, and then realizing whose chaos it really is, because it's just like things in my life right now. I'm sure people look at me and go, well, how can you just turn that off? Well, I don't. I just realize that only God can take care of this situation, and
Mm.
I have to allow certain things to play out, and not let it destroy me, because I still have a purpose.
Mm.
uh, and I just try to surround it with love and understanding as much as I can, and forgiveness. And
Mm.
it's it's a process. It's not currently. It's not at the state where it just kind of just goes, bing. Okay, that's it. I try to
Yeah.
dissect. I try to dissect things sometimes. I try to put my hands on it, and then I'm reminded, stop that. I got this. You don't need to be doing anything. So, yeah.
I love that, Dede. So I have, Dede, honestly, when I tell you Dede, like literally, like she said, walks over chaos. There are just some people who are more susceptible to things happening in their lives. That's just
Mhm.
the way the, cookie crumbles, if you want to call it like that.
Well,
But but you always handle it with grace. You always handle it with power. And I so admire that about you. And I've said that to you before, in
yeah.
private. It's like, I don't know how you do it. Anybody else, like everything would fall apart.
Yeah, I do have to say sometimes I look at God and I say, really, I understand you built me to be strong. You built me and created me to be a warrior. And it's scripturally, he says he teaches your hands to war, but it's your spirit more than the physical hands. And understanding that there is no loser and no defeat. The battle's won, and so I just have to I have to remind myself of that, because I can fall. I don't know. I can't use the word victim, but I can self sabotage and let
Mm.
fear try to creep in, or sometimes, and I shake myself. I literally, I'm still human. No matter how something's perceived on the outside, I walk in miracles every day. I mean, healing, deliverance, miracles for my friends. They call me, and it's sometimes the least expected person. Well, can you pray about this? Yes, I can. Are you ready for the change? Are you ready for whatever the answer is? But that's what that's the relationship with God. It keeps you from drowning. That and
Mm.
I can understand the symbolism of the Jesus shoes in that aspect, where Peter walked on the water, and when he took his eyes off of Christ, that teaching of trusting God completely with whatever situation it is, you sink. Are
Mhm.
you going to drown? Are you going to find the light again? Are you going to let that and it, explode and just come out and be at peace with the situation? There's scripture, it's quite long. It's lengthy in Corinthians, I believe, where God has taught me to be abased, to be abound, in whatsoever situation I find myself, I'm content. And
Mm.
when you find that peace, the chaos is just, well, what are you doing here? I didn't invite you. Let's go out the door, and you escort it out. You don't let
Yes.
it stay.
Yes, I really think that that's what walking in faith means.
Mhm.
I like to call it spiritual confidence A little, I don't know why, it just has a better, it just resonates more with me. Spiritual confidence is like faith, and it just means that you believe
Mhm.
that your inner peace, your inner solace, that connection to the divine is going to pull you through.
Yeah.
And the belief is everything, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Well, exactly. I mean, and some people, to describe faith, okay, and belief being everything. When you're pregnant, there's something being created inside you that's a hidden miracle, and you really can't design it by your thoughts, by your, you have. So just like your life, put that in God's hands, totally lay it over there,
Mm.
and just surrender. That's what surrender means. It doesn't mean being defeated. It means allowing full power of what created you
Mhm.
to envelop your life and bring you to a place where you walk without defeat.
That's
You
right.
know,
Mhm.
momentary sidesteps, uh, like things happen or whatever. But at the end, the victory and the winning and the outcome is just wow. And you look back and go, shoot, how'd I do that? Well, me and God, He's
That's
my
right.
best friend.
That's exactly
So,
right. That's exactly right. And so with that, I really want to let people know that if they have a person in their life that that needs help, that needs assistance, that just needs a guiding hand, you can put them on our light intercession list and text their name. That's all we need, just their name, to 805-500-3343. Everybody needs a helping hand every now and then. Like,
yes,
you can't navigate this world without others.
yeah.
That's just not an option, you know.
Mm.
I
Well,
think I've tried to do it, but it didn't
well,
work.
and scripturally too, for those that really are scripture based, is wherever two or more agree, God finds Himself in the midst of them. The Holy Spirit, that Comforter. So
Mhm.
you may not feel like you have somebody that agrees with you for prayer. Send us a message. You don't have to tell us what is. God knows, and we know through energy, and belief and faith that we can help you with that. So
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. I love it. Fantastic. So this show is definitely different than what we've done before.
mhm,
Usually we have guests on the show, and we were going to have someone on this week, but it didn't work out. But they're rescheduled. And so, with this type of show, I think it's good discussion, and I really would love people to engage with us on these types of discussions. We're going to be doing more because spirituality is at the essence of what's happening in our world right now.
mhm,
And I really want to be a support, a sounding gong. I want to be a place of light where people can talk and be open about what they feel. There is no judgment here.
mhm,
There is no judgment here. If you have something you want to put out there to the world, if you want to connect with us, we are open to that.
yeah,
We are open. And if you have a suggestion for a show, something you want us to talk about, something that you're curious about,
mhm,
feel free to go ahead and send us an info. You can also send an email to host at beyondtheedge at gmail. Sorry, host dot
host dot.
beyondtheedge at gmail.com.
Yeah,
Got it. Okay. Thank you.
yeah.
I mean, it's right there in front of me. You'd think I'd
Yeah,
be.
no, but you're not paying attention to the screen. You're paying attention to the hearts and the souls that need the information. So it kind of, you don't want to be distracted by what you're looking at. But it's host dot
Exactly.
beyond the edge at gmail.com.
Yeah.
And our phone number, you can call if you need to call. You can also text is 805-500 edge. That's edge 3343. And we really want to hear from you. If you want to be on the show, and have a topic, or if you feel like we can help you with something, let us know what it is.
Yeah, and I'm
And
excited about our new feature, the Passion Pop-up. So we go
yeah.
on location. We'll be going more on location now that more things are opening up. People are feeling more comfortable. And we're going to go on location to restaurants, places of
Mhm.
business. There's holistic healing spot, a spa, a wellness center. If you want to be featured on our show, give us a call or send us a message, give us a text, and we'd be happy to talk to you about going out to you and letting people know that you're there and what you do. I think I just love it. I love
Yeah.
going out and
Yeah.
connecting with people in their environment. Is There's nothing more fulfilling to me than knowing more about what people do and how they do it, and how they're contributing in a positive way to our world.
Hmm.
Because that's what this is really about too. This company we were talking about who said, we're not here to make the world a better place. Then what are you here for?
Yeah, no.
What are you?
But I mean, I have to challenge that statement because they're making it their place. So it is better for them. So I don't even think what they say is true fully. What does that mean? Are you using English that means something, or just throwing up words?
That's
They're making
funny.
it the world they want. So yeah,
Yeah. I think I have a real aversion to anybody who makes fun and makes light of people's pain.
yeah,
That really hurts my heart,
yeah,
because that is not appropriate. That is
yeah. I
not
agree.
okay. People suffering is not something that's funny.
No, it's not. It's not. It should not be discounted or made light of in any way, shape, or form.
Mm-mm,
No.
never.
Mm.
So, I mean, that's pretty much our show
Yeah,
today. This was fun. I really
yeah.
liked sharing with all of you what we learned and how we learned it. And I hope you learned something today too. And
So
we go ahead.
I just want to say you had one more picture, the light and love picture. So
Oh yeah, that was supposed to go up with the light intercession list, but that's okay.
oh,
That's okay. Go ahead and throw that up. This is a picture that we got, because I don't want to end on a note that's negative. Like, I really feel like you walking away with a good feeling, and images are part of that. Symbols and images are part of how you walk through your day and how you see yourself. So this is about unity and how we can connect through light, through connecting with each other, through standing for what we believe in.
hmm,
If you're a believer in God, in faith, in freedom, in light, we have to stand in that. If we don't stand for something, we'll fall for anything,
yeah.
right?
If you're just a believer in love, I mean, right now, if you're still questioning God and you're a believer in love, you know, find your community and stand up and make your voice heard, and you'll make a difference, positive change in the world. And
Amen.
I think that's it. I don't know. We are going to have some amazing shows coming up. Stay tuned for that.
Yes, next week we have a yoga show. We'll be talking about yoga and meditation. I'm super excited about that. That's my lane, we talk about staying in your lane. That's my lane. But I'm going to give the floor to somebody else. We have a couple of great guests on who are yoga instructors, one in New York and one in Chicago, I think. We'll let you guys know what's going on. And we have the show for the missing and murdered Indigenous women coming up.
Yes.
We've been gearing up for that. That is some really powerful stuff. So
Yeah.
you don't want to miss that show either. So I want to wish you all long life and vibrant health. Thank you all for tuning in today. Namaste.
Namaste.